pretty much right there. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Grant Smith and I'm out here on the range today. It's a little windy, but it's sunny and it's warm here in Ohio. Going through some different sites, getting ready to change things over, kind of going from my hunting site, shooting a 5-pin on a mover there, to a single pin for 3D. So the class I'm shooting for ASA for 3D this year, I got the first national shoot here in about a week and a half in Foley. So getting my old single pin sight busted out for that, and wanted to make a quick video on hunting with the single pin sight. So for probably the last 2.5-3 years, I've hunted with this, a 5-pin on a slider. This is the the Sword Jury Pro. So it is a 5-pin sight on a slider. It's got the tape. So that green pin there in the middle, I use that as my floater. So that's my 40. And then kind of the philosophy is I'm really only using the 20, 30, 40 pin as pins. I have a 50 and 60 if I need them. And then anything 40 and above, I'm going to try to use that slider. Killed a lot of deer with this sight the past 2.5-3 years. But previous to that, I really just hunted a lot with a single pin here. So thought it'd be a good chance to make a video on how to bow hunt with a single pin. The big thing, especially here in whitetail country here in Ohio, is what do you do if your sight's not set on the correct range? So wanted to go over how I do it. It's not the end-all method by any means. It's just I had a lot of success having a single pin sight set on a certain distance and learning how to hunt from it. So getting into that, let me set this one down. This is the Sword Titan 2. I've had this sight for quite a while now. This is actually my second one. So again, single pin on a slider. The way I bow hunted with this sight is I had it set on 30 yards. I always had it set on 30 yards, and I basically learned how to shoot spot on with it set on 30 yards from the ranges of 20 to 40 yards. So I put a lot of time in. I learned my arrow weight, how many grains I was shooting, what it dropped at different distances to that. I learned how to aim on targets, multiple targets, not just deer targets and stuff like that. So I had really good accuracy from 20 to 40 yards with the single pin set on 30 yards. So that's what I wanted to do today. I haven't done this in a long time, so got to bust off some rust, but I want to show you guys, we're going to pull up some random distances on the phone and how you can be effective shooting a single pin sight. The goal, what I figured is 20 to 40. I learned those distances, how to aim off it being set at 30. Anything over 40, realistically, at least here in Ohio, if it's 40 plus, I probably have enough time, hopefully, to set my actual sight. And when it came to fixed pins at that distance, I'm not very good at gapping pins over 40 yards. So that was kind of my same mentality there, is anything over 40 yards, I'm going to use my slider at that point, just to make sure I got a good ethical shot on the deer. So let's get into it. Let's do some different distances. We'll pull up some random distances on the phone and see how this bad boy shoots. Alrighty. So kind of lied there a little bit. The camera's basically already set up at 40 yards, and I don't have a cameraman. So we're just gonna leave it here. We're gonna start at 40. So the pin is set at 30. We're at 40 yards, and see what we can do here. Okay, so left side, bottom of the 10. No, I'm not shooting 3D right now. I'm not trying to shoot 12s, but that's not bad. 40 yards, kill shot. Let's go to the next distance. All right, guys, so I put in a random number. Currently filming with the phone, so I couldn't show you that, but it got us 35.8, so we moved up a little bit. Let's see, that first one, I don't know, that's pretty good. If you're looking at it from like whitetail hunting, not 3D, it is basically like right behind the line of the shoulder there, so I'll take it. Wish it was in the 10 ring, but pretty much right there. Going for that crease right behind the shoulder. So that's there. Let's see what distance we got next. Oh yeah, guys, it gave it to us. 21 yards. So this is probably the most important distance, to be honest with you, because if you do not practice with a single pin sight set at a fixed distance, this is going to be the majority of your shots, at least in the Midwest. I believe it's probably going to be that 15 to 20 yard range. Even though it's so much fun to practice 50 plus, this is kind of where we live. So I've screwed this distance up many times, actually just twice, but I've killed a lot of deer this way. I've also had one that did get away because I put a 30-yard pin right on the deer's lungs at 15 yards. So you got to practice with this to know where to aim. But we're basically almost just going for the armpit at this distance. Right there. So again, practice this one the most if you're going to try to hunt from here, because it's, if you only do it a couple times and then you practice at, you know, the actual distance where your sight's set, what's going to happen is you're going to get into the woods and everything's going to be a blur because your adrenaline's going to be pumping, you're going to be shaking, and you're just going to put that pin right on, you know, right where it should be if it was the correct distance. So the whole thing behind this is you have to practice this way a lot. I killed a lot of deer this way, but I practiced really hard at it. You can't just go do it a couple times and think you're okay. You really got to understand the bow, your equipment, if you want to shoot this method. All right, it has now taken us to the 27.4 yard distance. So pretty easy one because the pin's set at 30. So realistically, depending on the speed of your bow, you could probably almost just aim dead on. Right there. Alrighty, so for the fifth and final arrow, I've actually picked the distance. This one's not random, 12.5 yards. So I picked this one because it's a realistic whitetail opportunity. You got a good chance in the Midwest, especially here in Ohio, if you're hunting the timber, you would have a whitetail at this range. So we got the single pin set at 30 yards, shooting at 12.5 yards. So nice for the wind to pick up for me right when I'm shooting, but there we have it. Let's get the camera. Let's go take a look at these arrows. All right, guys, so here is our group. Not bad. Not bad. Probably the only one, the 40. I mean, realistically, if you're looking at it, that's kind of right behind the shoulder blade there, but like it to be maybe an inch or so right. All the rest of these, not bad for using a single pin set at 30 yards from 20 to 40. I'm going to pull these real quick so I can show you guys kind of where I was aiming. All right, so taking a look at the target here. When we're talking in the 40 yard range, so right at that 38 to 40, what I'm doing is I am taking the actual post of the sight, and that's what I'm using to get my reference on the anatomy of the deer. So if it's perfectly broadside, I'm going to be putting it basically that post right behind this back leg, and I'm letting that pin sit right here. So right about on the spine, right at the top. You almost want to be, you can be a little higher, aiming a little over it. So you saw my shot landed right about here. The biggest thing is in reference, that spine's a really good spots to aim for at that 38 to 40 yard mark. For the 35 yard shot, it was 35 and some change, but I'm basically aiming 3/4 of the way up the deer. So same thing, taking my post of my single pin sight, bringing up and let that pin sit right about the 3/4 mark. So that's going to kind of be that, 34, 35, 36 yard range. That's what I'm going to use. So 27 to 33, you can pretty much just kind of aim right on the bow I'm shooting, the RX5. It's quick enough where I can just put it on the vitals like you normally would from that 27 to 33 yard range. And you're going to have like an inch or so variance, but that's really it. 20, so again, I know this is a 3D target, but 20 and under, I'm picking this armpit right here. So right where the leg comes up and meets the stomach. And you can look at this, it's kind of that armpit there. I'm putting that pin right on there for that distance. Thank you guys for watching today. I haven't done many of these videos, just kind of on the range, kind of messing around. And I honestly haven't hunted with a single pin like that in probably about 3 years. So it is an effective way. Biggest takeaway is you got to practice at it. Can't be something you just do a couple times and go out there and do it. You gotta make a routine that you know where that bow's shooting at different distances, and not even on a, like a 3D target or something like that. It's good to, put like a roofing nail, a button cap nail in a target, and just go to a random distance, and you should know what holding 4 inches above that looks like at this distance. So that's kind of the practice that needs to go into it. I have been using a fixed pin sight. I love both, but obviously for 3D this year, I'm going to be shooting a single pin. So it was fun to get it out, break it out. Comment down below if you guys think I should do more style of these videos, just kind of shoot around on the range. Obviously I don't have a cameraman, so I got to start and stop the camera a little bit, but thanks again for watching and have a good day.